Hi, dear. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, how are you, Putri? Are you fine?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Okay. So,
Good.
okay, Putri, just let me put these remarks first so that you know my teaching style. So, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not here to examine you. So, when I
Mm-hmm.
ask you a question, the purpose
Mm-hmm.
is actually to trigger your mind to recall the information inside your brain. This recalling process actually do something good to the brain, which means that it strengthens the connection between the information inside your brain and train you on the recalling process, and this help you in the exam. So the recalling or the question that I give to you is not to examine you. I am not an examiner. I'm here to know your true level and to plan how to push you forward and make you able to succeed and successful. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I will start with a few little things here. So I will start first about how the brain works. This is general information that will help you uh, not only in computer science, but also in other subjects. Okay? So I will
Yeah.
tell you about how you build brain chunks. And I will also explain to you about physical exercise. Because physical exercise is actually very good for your brain. It helps you to think properly. There have been many studies that say that all the professionals who are able to take proper decisions is the one who is practicing sports. So go for walking, practice any sports. It really helps your brain and your ability to think and take decisions. Okay. And I will also
Okay.
explain about your creativity and your emotional stability and their effect on your studying. And I will also explain to you about two modes of how your brain works. So there is two actually known modes, focus mode and diffuse mode. Most of the people does not know anything about the diffuse mode and how to trigger it. So I will also explain a little bit about that. I will also
Okay.
summarize something about your working memory and your permanent memory. And then we will go to the technical side about the computer science. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, good. So and we have a memory term that is called memory chunking. So if we want to simplify information and make the brain able to digest and remember information, we have to actually and simplify the information and make it in a smaller pieces. So if we want to remember a phone number, something like that, for example, then if we want to try to remember it one shot in this big number of characters, so maybe it's not possible. It will be a little bit harder. But if we divide that group of numbers into smaller groups like that, and then we try to remember each group and then tie them together or find a relation between the three groups, that will stick in the memory much better and it will last in the memory for longer. Okay? Does this make
Okay.
sense in
Got
your
it.
opinion?
Yeah.
Okay. So now um, we would like to relate that to actually computer science. So did you hear about virtual machines before?
I'm sorry?
Virtual machines.
No.
So virtual machines is actually in your A2 syllabus. So it is simply the ability to install different operating system on your computer. So typically, if you are using just a normal Windows computer, you are not able to install any Mac operating system. But using some kind of software, which is called hypervisor, that allow you to install other operating system like Linux, like Mac OS on your Windows. So you have a laptop, maybe it's operating on Windows, right? Or it's operating in what?
Yeah.
Is it Windows?
Windows.
Okay.
Yeah, Windows.
So yeah, that Windows, we are able to use it to install other operating systems that need different hardware. But using that virtual machine, it actually may trick the operating system like the Mac OS or the Linux, so that it can be installed in Windows. Okay, so what we want to say here is that if we try to chunk or to uh, make the information and go to in our mind in a small pieces, so we divide this information this way. We say chunk one, we have to differentiate first between virtual memory and virtual machines. And then after we understand this little concept, then we focus on the section of explaining what is virtual machines, its benefits and limitations. And then if we talk about another chunk that we can learn about a virtual machine, so we can say simply in this way, okay, we give a scenario. The scenario say we are using a PC that is running Windows 10. We download a software that only runs on Apple computer. And then we emulate the Apple software on Windows using a virtual machine. So this flow of information, it is small pieces of information that we are able to actually relate together. So I am not passing you a big chunk of information and asking you to digest it. I'm passing the information in little chunks. So also when you are studying a big topic that is difficult to understand, so simplifying it in a small pieces of information that actually help. Making and thinking of relation between different information that actually help you to recall the information and help it stick and help you understand it. Does this make sense so far?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good. Um, okay. So something that I would advise you for exam preparation. Some students think that before the exam, they want to actually revise for the exam by just reading the syllabus again. But actually rereading the syllabus give you a fake feeling that you actually studied. But in reality, this does not really help you. The neuroscience and the science about the brain say that when you test yourself by closing the book and trying to recalling the information just from your brain, that this really help your brain a lot, because when you test recalling the information from your brain, you are telling the brain this is an important information that I want to easily recall. So that makes the brain strengthens the connection around this information and make it somehow float to the surface. So when you recall it in the exam, you're able to do that easily and you don't take so much time to recall the information. So don't just rely on rereading, try to always do the recalling of the information without looking into your book or to the syllabus. Did you manage to understand what I said?
Yep. I would always do that for like previous exam.
Okay, that's excellent. Okay, so another thing that have been noticed from the research, they call this space repetition. Have you practiced that before?
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Yep. I have practiced this before.
Okay, excellent. Okay, good. So, okay, what do you see in front of your eye here in this slide?
The boots index.
Excellent. So, do you know what is the purpose of a book index?
Yep. To find like when we remember certain words, but we don't remember what page it's on, so we have to look at the index.
Excellent. And do you know that our brain also have an index for the information stored inside? So let me tell you here why you need to know about the memory index. There is two pieces in our brain that is called hippocampus. This is the memory index. This is where information is categorized and organized in our permanent memory. So when you are listening to me now, all the information that flow to your brain go to your working memory, which is in this area. And then this information is transferred to the hippocampus and organized, categorized to prepare it to be stored in the long-term memory or the permanent memory. The permanent memory actually reside on a thin layer on our brain here, okay? So it covers a large area of our head here, okay? So the point is why I'm telling you this. How can this affect your or help you in your study? In this way, with this information, um, actually the hippocampus have a capacity. Consider it like a cup, okay? So if you keep pouring water inside the cup, after a while it will get saturated or full with the water, and then the water will start flowing up here on both sides. The water flow up, so it means that we are not able to make use of that water. So we have to stop. We have to empty or drink the water inside first, and then we can put more water or more information. So if we imagine that this cup of water is the hippocampus got saturated with information in adults between 10 to 15 minutes of information. So if you are in a class and you are receiving information for 10 to 15 minutes, this hippocampus got saturated. So most of the teacher who already studied about neuroscience, they know that. So every 10 to 15 minutes, they will tend to busy themselves with cleaning the board or checking the syllabus or opening a book and take 1 or 2 minutes of silence. When they do that, the hippocampus will be able to actually empty the information that it took from the working memory and transfer it to the permanent memory. Does this make sense? Did you understand anything? Or what did you understand from me?
Yes, I what I understood is that we have to take a break like every time we study because we will get our brain will get saturated and it's hard to retain the information.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. So if you are studying alone, also every 10 to 15 minutes, you need to practice that. Okay,
Okay.
good. So we move to the next. The next would be um, this is these two images is for our brain, and it show um, the connections and the links between different information. So this is a memory links that have been built and consolidated inside our brain. And you notice here there is no links. Here the links is built. Um, so there is two things that we can benefit from this. First, this kind of links is built in your brain when you are sleeping. So sleeping is extra important, not only in the night of the exam, but in every night, because the consolidation and the links that is built inside your brain, it can take between weeks to sometimes months. So, and also, as I said, this happened during the sleep. So good night sleep is very important for building these memory links inside your brain. And another thing, you think because you love or you want to become a computer scientist or you want to study about computers and programming, you only need to read and educate yourself about programming only. But no, in the reality, the research say every information that you study can still relate and help your brain function properly. It can help your brain do a lot of brainstorming and get out creative ideas. So, or find solution for problems. So actually the research say people who read about different topics, history, geography, and news, um, they still able to help them even in programming and computer science. So don't say that, oh, because I love geography, if I do learn something about computer, it will not benefit. or if I learn something about a language, it will not benefit programming. No, every information that you learn actually make a tight connections together inside your brain and help your brain function better in a better way. Does this make sense to you so far?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good. Okay. The last thing that I will tell you here about brain is that the brain actually are able to function in many modes, but we want to focus on two things. The focus mode, which is currently you are in now. So when you are studying or when you are listening to a class, your brain is in the focus mode. But there is another mode, which is important, which is called diffuse thinking. The diffuse thinking, smart people are able to trigger this mode because it helps them to actually do a lot of brainstorming and even come up with creative solutions for problems. This mode only come out or triggered when you are relaxed, totally relaxed. So people sometimes it was well known, if some people is taking shower, they are totally relaxed. Sometimes the idea keep rushing into the brains, even though they are not thinking about anything. The solution for problems sometimes come up when the people are relaxed. If you are walking beside the sea, if you are just closing, you are thinking about nothing, so this is a triggering for diffuse mode. So sometimes I use as a programmer, when I face a problem in programming, I actually didn't know that information before. So I keep hitting the wall trying to find a solution for a problem. I say, oh, I'm smart enough, I should find a solution for a problem. But actually, in reality, that is totally wrong. When you face a problem, mathematics, programming, whatever, then you close your book, try to relax, do something else, even close the whole problem and go to sleep, uh, just open another topic or even subject, and then tomorrow try to open the same problem again and think about it. Definitely, that will trigger your brain to find better ideas. When I know this information, I put it into practice, that actually helped. And instead of spending 4 to 8 hours hitting my head in the wall trying to find a solution for a programming problem, then I find myself, if I just relax for 1 hour or 2 hours, just do something totally different, then I open the same problem again. Just in half an hour, I'm able to find a solution. So that actually helps. So did you get me, or did you get how you can trigger your diffuse mode?
Yes.
Okay, good. So inside my class, typically I provide the resources for every class in a separate post here. For every student, they have a separate post. So I give you a link, and that link will be always used to update all the class recording and sometimes the slides that I used for teaching, and the code that I explained to you during the class also will be linked here. So for every class, you will find recording, class, the video recording for the class. Typically, they are separated into 3 parts. Um, there is, of course, title for every video. And if there is a files, then I will give you the slides of the different files that I use during the class. If there is a code, VB code that I write, then I will also pass you the link for the code here. Exercises will be um, put under the class, the exercises title. And sometimes I ask some of my students to post the link of the homework on a different place so that I'm aware of it, and we are able to trace all the links submitted. You have to understand that typically all the slides that I'm giving to you will be stored on a Google Drive. You know how to deal with a Google Drive, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so again, all the video recording will be uploaded and the links will be given to you um, on the link that is dedicated for your class. But then typically we use Replit, which is actually free to run our code. So if I give you a link for a code that will be on Replit, so you're able to share your code with me. I'm able to share your code with you without exchanging files. Just you can able to give me the link in this way. So that's why we use it during the class and for exchanging exercises or codes. Sometimes in VB is slightly slower than other languages. So in VB, actually the code runs slightly slower than others. When we use Java and Python, it's slightly faster. But the benefit of using Replit is actually a lot. That's why I still use it with other students who study in Taylor also. Okay. Have you tried to use it before?
No.
Okay, so actually the registration on Replit is actually so easy. You just need to enter your email and then they will get you registered. If you are having a Gmail, that will also give you the ability to even register much faster. Okay, they don't really need you to confirm your email or anything like that. Okay, so let me just go to computer science site. So have you seen or heard about SSD before?
Yes.
Okay. What did you hear about it?
SSD is a solid state drive, right?
Yes, excellent.
It is a permanent memory and is stored outside of the. It is not in cloud memory.
Excellent.
So,
Okay.
so for example, if you have like a file and if you want to be safe, you have to back it up on SSD or even HDD.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. That is excellent. Okay. Have you seen an SSD in reality?
I don't think so.
Okay, no problem. So, okay, what about that? Have you seen some pictures like that before?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was part of your syllabus before, right? Right, Putri?
Yes, sir.
Putri? Okay, okay. Because sometimes I don't really hear you, so maybe that's why I need to confirm again. Okay, now, did you see something like that before? And do you know what is the difference between the three images here?
I think the old RAM is not as fast as the new RAM, and the old RAM is much larger and not really portable as the new RAM.
Okay, typically, I would say this RAM is the one used for laptops. It is compact in size, and of course, it's more expensive. This is more commonly used in desktops, and that is the RAM that was actually, this is not a computer, this is just a RAM, and that was like in the 1960s, so that was long time ago. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Now I want to take you to something more specific here. Do you know that inside the RAM is actually divided into two separate things? A place where we can say that every space in the RAM got an address. And when we have an address, actually we also got a place to store information. So we are able to store the data here, and this is the address of that data. So consider it one, two, so actually they start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. But of course, this is written in binary. You know about binary, right?
Yes.
Okay. So did you see that kind of image before?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. Okay, now let me take you to something slightly different. Okay, so do you know what is the the main purpose of using a pseudocode?
I think it helps us to do like drafting before doing real coding.
Yes, excellent. So in education, of course, it is the ability to write an algorithm that can solve a certain problem or specific problem without really using any programming language, just something that is very close to English. So even if you don't know the syntax of a programming language, you can express how a problem can be solved just using pseudocode. And actually, in reality, is also used in professional work because when there is a teams of programmers, some of them doesn't all know the same programming language. So to be able to share the design and how the design should look like, they use a pseudocode because it's more closer to English than to a programming language. Okay. Have you learned any programming language before other than pseudocode and maybe a little bit about VB? Have you learned about Python or Java before?
Not really.
Okay, good, no problem. So I am bringing here a code that is, first, this is a pseudocode. Can you still recall what this is doing?
It's declaring variable and its data type.
Okay, so this is a data type, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we declare variables and the data types in VB.NET in this way. So you see the difference here? We call dim, this is a variable name, this is the data type is clear. So instead of this, we use as. And instead of declare, we use dim. Okay, so you see here, we use integer, which is similar to the integer in pseudocode. For real, do you know what is the real used for?
For numbers that have point.
Decimal point, yes, excellent. Okay, so we have that in VB.NET, but we call it double, not real. Okay, this is a slight different here. So grade, we use instead of char or character, we use a string. And for name, we also use a string. So string here and here is the same. In VB.NET and pseudocode, it is both the same. Okay, so that is somehow, if you want to translate this kind of code from pseudocode into VB.NET, this is how it should look like. Okay, is it difficult?
Not really.
Okay, good. Are you able to tell me what this pseudocode is actually doing?
I
So
think it's grading the student's mark.
okay, so
Uh,
this is the score, and this is called percentage score. May I?
First, hmm?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Okay. For the first line, it's assigning 20 to the variable score.
Excellent.
Because maybe the full mark is 20, or and percentage score is like this they are assigning score multiply by 100 and over 45 to percentage score
Okay.
to get
Actually,
the student score in percentage.
okay, that's fine also. What about this?
Okay.
Can you recognize that?
It is a constant for for 60 the threshold would be A and 40 it would be B.
Okay, do you recognize what is the difference between a constant and a normal variable?
Normal variable, the value can be changed, but the constant, it will always be the same value.
Excellent. This is an excellent knowledge. Okay. Actually, the highest score that anybody can get is 45. Okay. So we divide the 20 by 45, and then we multiply it by 100. But somehow, slightly, this is not arranged in the same way here. So the full mark is 45. and the student real
Oh, I
score
see.
is 20. Okay, we multiply it by 100 so that we get the percentage, and then for every percentage that is above 60, the student will get A. Okay, so 60 and more, student will get A. Between 40 to 60, student will get B. Anything else, the student will get C. So if you look here, this is a difference between, this is VB. So we use equal, not the arrow like this. And of course, when we do this kind of arithmetic operation, multiplication and division, that's not a big difference here. Just only we don't use arrows in VP, we just use equal sign, okay? And if we want to define a constant, we use the constant keyword like that. And we define this threshold as a double in this case. And also the threshold B, also we use it as a double, but it is also possible to define it as an integer. So both will work, okay?
Okay.
Okay, good. So we move to actually the next slide here. Look at the pseudocode portion of the code and tell me what it does.
This is selection, right? If I'm not mistaken. So if the percentage score is above or equal to threshold A, then the grade will be A. Or else, if the percentage score is more or equal to threshold B, then the grade will be B. Anything else is C.
Excellent. Can you recognize the difference between the pseudocode here and how the if statement is actually used in VB? So you see, it's quite close actually. Am I right?
Yeah.
So you see here, this else is exactly like that, and if is there like that. Of course, we don't use arrows at all in VB. We just use equal sign, okay? And all the conditions is exactly the same. There is no change. The only difference I would say is how the else if is written in pseudocode and how it is written in VB.NET. So you see here, there is no space. And we don't use all capital like this. So we only use the first character as a capital and then all small. But in pseudocode, it's all capital, you see? So is it easy to convert any pseudocode to VB.NET? You think it's easy or slightly different?
I think it's kind of easy.
Okay. So I understand that you think so far it looks fine. Definitely, there is still advanced topics that we need to go through, but the basics is very close to each other. So if we do this comparison, always then we will end up converting any code in an easy way. Did you see a selection case in pseudocode before?
Yes.
Okay, so are you able to understand this code?
Yep.
So is it same like previous code?
Um, kind of. But this one we don't use if else.
Okay. Is it more
Uh,
compact? Is it more easier here
yeah.
or
I think this one is easier because we don't have extra variable. Like for example, percentage score.
yeah,
We just
okay.
need the value of the score.
Okay, excellent. Okay. Um okay. If we want to translate that code to VB, so actually it should look like this. So there is of course a slight difference because the other pseudocode they use a case of. Here we call it select case. And then we say here case is, and then we say bigger than or equal 85, or case 70 to 85. So there is a slight difference here. Let me go back to the previous slide. So can you see here, we don't use the word case on every line, but here in VB, we use the word case. Can you recognize that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is one of the differences between pseudocode and VB.NET. And to be able to actually print a line in VB.NET, we don't use output, we use console.writeLine. So that is one of the difference also. Other than that, do you find it difficult to understand?
Not really.
Okay, so that is actually quite excellent. Um, let me first know, would you like the classes to be for pseudocode and VB.NET or only VB.NET?
I think both is better.
Both is better. Okay, because you still have part of the pseudocode syllabus that you need to learn about. Okay. May I know about the timings that you prefer to have classes? Is it are you able to have classes before 6:30, or you prefer it like 7 p.m. On certain days?
I think 6:30 is fine.
Um, what about before 6:30? Because let me say 6:30 should be the ending of the class. Are you able to start by 5, or we should be starting by 7? Anything from 4 p.m. to, or not 4 p.m., I would say from anything from 2 p.m. until 4:30 as a start would be actually fine. Is that something suitable to you, or we stick back to 7 p.m.?
I think it's okay as long as it's on weekends.
Weekends, okay. So your weekends are Saturday and Sunday. You're not in Kedah, right?
Yep.
So Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yep.
Okay, okay. So you want the two classes to be Saturday and Sunday. Okay. Let me try to arrange that. Okay, good. And
Okay.
yeah. So if you are happy with the class, just let me know, and then we can arrange the timing. I can give you the timing for both classes. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any other questions that you would like to ask me?
I want to ask, so for the next class, we will only learn Sudoku and VB, right?
Um, it's your choice, but yes, but we will start doing, you have to start doing with your hand. So I experienced it with teaching different students. Students who only listen to code and does not practice with their hand end up after 2 months giving up. If you practice with your hand in every class like I'm giving you, and we do a lot of exercises, then I can tell you I have seen most of my students uh, get A easily, especially in the coding. So it totally depends on you. Yes, it will be an effort that in every class you have to do the effort on your own. I will teach you, give you the theoretical part, and then I will guide you step by step to solve exercises in front of my eyes. Of course, there is a homework, but I need to be able to guide you how to find a solution for an exercise. If I only tell you theoretical part, definitely that will not help you. So it's your, at the end, it's your choice, but I know upfront what could be the result. Did I manage to answer your question?
So for A2 syllabus, we have theory and the programming, right?
Yes, definitely yes.
So will you be teaching theory part two?
It's up to you. It's your request.
Okay. So I can request for like anything I want to.
Yes, if you will need help, you tell me upfront, then we can include that in the class.
Okay, so for example, if I learn like this one theory topic in class and I don't really understand it, can I ask you that?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I think by now we are about to finish the class.